of applause. So this is great finals. Okay, so I'm going to hand over to the chair of the finals panel. The submission includes the statements, the expectation from the audience versus the participants.
I want to speak here, the picture. Okay. I need to mean you standing. No, I'm going to be up and down. And just stand and stand.
Raise the block. They are all controlled, okay? They are so keep up on this each other. That's the stabilize. I'm not requesting to be my command. I know I'm not now. Okay, so now this is what we are going to do. The first speaker will be taking 4 minutes. Okay? Meaning the report, so your person is protected and your person is also protected. Meaning people are using the second, the second, and the third minute. Then the reply speech, we shall do 2 minutes. Okay? 2 minutes for the reply speech. Is that okay? Are we okay? What is that okay? Okay, let's make some. These guys are the our guys in the audience, guys in the gallery. Just because we ushers of the host school, if you never have to speak, and if you don't know the schools that are in front, just notify. Release your hands. Thank you. First one,
think I can fit. This cord.
Let's get moving. Let's get moving.
Let's not use a mic.
Why?
To make sound.
Why don't you use it? If the person of the sound complains that the sound is not clear, maybe shall I just avoid it?
All right.
First say 1, 2. First say
1, 2, 1, 2.
Just sound clear.
Yeah, all right. I'll begin my speech at C.
You have 4 minutes of speech time. First minute and the last minute are protected. I raise my finger. Means you have raised up 1 minute. When I raise it for the secretary, you move for 1 minute. Once the alarm goes, it means your speech time is done, and whatever you say shall not matter.
All right. Are we good to go? At C, A, B, C. Panel, this House supports affirmative action policies to address gender disparities in employment and education. Now, I want to break down the case for you. One, I will be in the case of both teams. Now, affirmative action policies should address gender disparities in employment and education. Gender disparities is when people are treated differently based on their gender, rather than their individual education and employment. Two, stereotype falls in society where people have different mindsets about what to do. But three, discrimination acts during education and also when we protect the rights of the most marginalized group of people, in this case, women, the disabled people, and this is actually protected by the Constitution of Uganda in Article 32 that there is need to protect women's rights. Now, I want to define for you why we actually think that there are disparities according to history and what it means. Go back in history in 1995, when we see that actually we had representation of women in the Parliament of Uganda of about 10% representation. The women was actually not being represented, and the government thought of doing something. We also look at the point where we had people who are actually disabled not being considered in any way in terms of education, and their parents thought that actually they don't need to be educated, but also that they don't need to be presented in terms of leadership. Let's come to government and employment, and they need to be employed. Now, when did the government do it? People introduced affirmative action, which are in Article 32, and it defines it well. If we define affirmative action according to, I want to inform you about that one. Affirmative action in the status quo, and this is actually continuing. Let me look at actually affirmative action is implemented well. We now support affirmative action because it is very important if it is well implemented. At the time where team negative thinks that affirmative action is bad, they should blame the implementers of affirmative action that do not fail to support affirmative action. So why did we get that down in the first place? What I fight for affirmative action? This is a policy aimed at increasing workplace and education opportunities for underrepresented people. It includes assistance for gender representation, people with disabilities. According to the Constitution of Uganda, it intends to ensure that suitably qualified employees from designated groups have equal employment opportunity and are equitably represented in all educational categories. I repeat, equitably represented in all educational categories to correct imbalances caused by history and condition, or as declared, and that is declared by Article 32 of this Constitution of Uganda. Now, why do we actually think that we need this affirmative action have? The direct impact is the direct mindset change of people requiring their history, belief, their customs and tradition. Well, because when we say that we need to actually represent women, by the time we say that women actually need to be presented on a marginalized group, people actually change their mindset and believe that these people are very important. And at the end of the day, when they do this, what does it cause? Long-term impact. A long-term impact of them actually educating their children so that they take up career choices. When women actually believe that they're not supposed to do certain career choices, for example, engineering and mathematics, so let it be technology. When you put their affirmative action, allowing them to be there, they will change their mindset and go and be qualified in such kind of people. I want to rest my case and submit.
simplify the being my speech. I'd like to thank the organizers of this tournament for giving us an opportunity to be here. I'd also like to thank the debate club of Iganga for the support that they've given us as a team, which has enabled us to reach here at the finals. And we'd also like to congratulate Holy Cross for making into the finals of Black Tonight's debate for the second time. So, today to my speech. Our resolution today is this House supports affirmative action policies to address gender disparities in education and in employment. Now, judges, in that speech, Team Affirmative comes and tells us in inefficiencies in affirmative action and in implementation. Now, this leaves us as Team Negative. If we have a policy that cannot actually be effectively implemented, then the batteries and the staff for us as a house to support it. Now, just to dive into what they do come and argue that by implementing affirmative action policies, then they hope that they'll solve problems where particular genders have equal access to resources, they'll solve problems like discrimination, and they'll also achieve mindset change. Now, we as Team Negative in our first speech, we are going to give you reasons why affirmative action can actually not be implemented. In the second speech, we shall tell you exactly why our counter is the best option. And in the third speech, we have a comparative of these two models. Now, to dive into why we as Team Negative believe that affirmative action policies cannot actually be implemented and shouldn't be supported. One, because affirmative action policies are actually expensive to implement. Now, these policies actually depend on our government's values. And in this case of the country's Iganga, we are already applying on an deficit budget. So this means that even if that side of the house hopes to achieve this when they implement affirmative action, they will actually never realize it. Two, affirmative action does not actually deal with stereotypes. It actually creates another form of stereotypes. Where everyone will know that so and so is not in that school or it doesn't have that job because they deserve it, but because they wanted a woman to be there or a man to be there. So this is going to create a stereotype in society where people refuse to cooperate with these particular individuals because they do not believe they deserve the positions that they hold. Two, we also don't support affirmative action because even if they ask that it has been existing, what girls are being given extra 1.5 points at when they are getting admission. Now there are so many women MPs that are elected to parliament. Us as a country have not actually registered any reasonable achievements that give us reason enough to continue to support affirmative action policies. We do realize that as a country we are still dealing with issues like corruption. We are also still even arguing for women emancipation, which we hope affirmative action will solve. So we do realize that affirmative action policies do not actually solve gender disparities in education and employment. That is why in our side of the house we actually prefer a world where people compete for education and employment opportunities, not because they are the desirable gender for that particular post, but because they are the best candidates after going through a series of tests and where their capabilities are proved and both genders compete on equal grounds, a case that we call meritology, which my second speaker will clarify on. So dear judges, as you go through this debate, consider the practicability and application policies of the particular strategy that both teams are presenting and choose the best team. I beg to respond.
I want to see.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. This House supports affirmative action policies to address gender disparities in employment and education. Ladies and gentlemen, there's one thing we need to understand in this motion. Has affirmative action ever worked? This is the first question we ask ourselves as the debaters who are here. If affirmative action has ever worked, then there is no need to keep negative to come and claim that it cannot be implemented. It has worked. I'm going to give you instances where affirmative action has worked. One, in the olden days, ladies and gentlemen, we used to realize that there was low enrollment of female gender in education. But let us try to look at it right now. After affirmative action was actually implemented, ladies and gentlemen, we understand that when they come to school at the moment, there is almost equal enrollment for both boys and girls at school. And we think that this is the achievement that has been brought about by affirmative action. Now, they came and told us that policies that cannot be implemented shouldn't be supported. And trying to actually respond to what our affirmative speaker came and told us that if they actually claim affirmative action, they should claim the implementation. But in a nutshell, they did not say affirmative implemented in this case. Because we have seen affirmative action has been implemented and it's actually achieving its goal. Our goal as the first, as the negator, as the government confirmed that affirmative action actually works and don't doubt that there is need for us to support. Now, in my first presentation, we brought to you the article 32 of the Constitution of Uganda that says that the state shall take affirmative action in favor of marginalized group of people according to history, culture, and tradition. We understand that group of this marginalized group of people can do disabilities and these people who are with disabilities and women. And we think that history has proven that women are actually of weaker sex, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day. So, should we bring something new, actually to elevate these women from the level they are and the level they are to somewhere? We think that affirmative action is going to fly here best. What I'm trying to say, let's look at how the perception of the people based on culture and history, they perceive women as weaker sex, first of all, that these are the gender that cannot actually do some specific kind of job, ladies and gentlemen. So we are trying to put affirmative action in place, actually to correct this imbalance, to correct this kind of mindset of people, that when they see women actually put there, ladies and gentlemen, they are going to realize that actually women can also be members of parliament in the parliament, ladies and gentlemen. My father, Peter came and told you that in 1995, ladies and gentlemen, there was only 10% women in the parliament of Uganda. But right now, as we talk, since affirmative action was implemented, we have about 38% of women in the parliament of Uganda, ladies and gentlemen. Is this not actually achievement? They're trying to realize there's no supporting affirmative action. No, something negative indirectly tells us that the law that has already been written, ladies and gentlemen, should be that law because the government of Uganda has put affirmative action in this law, ladies and gentlemen. Do you come and tell us that we have this law or we need to actually have this law because we think that the law it takes some processes after all kind of corrections have been made and observation of that this law actually works. Now, we are trying to prove to you that affirmative action actually works better. Now, in that case, they do not give us the alternative that they are going to use actually to bring this marginalized group of people. But they do acknowledge that this marginalized group of people exists in the society. Now, in what ways, what ways now, they came and told us that affirmative action is actually expensive to implement. They did not tell us how much does it cost for affirmative action to be implemented. But we think that Uganda, as a growing country, has ever implemented affirmative action, and still affirmative action is working on well. What kind of experts do we actually see working here? Now, they also came and told us about corruption by women who are actually promoted in the parliament because of affirmative action. But we do not want to guarantee that as these women were not qualified, corruption actually is the mindset of people at the end of the day. And we think that as they conclude, even Jim Wesley, who is a man who went there potentially, was actually accused and actually convicted of corruption in the parliament. So this displays the fact that there is growth bringing about affirmative action. Thank you very much.
Alright. Fine. So the point of this debate, and we look at it again. Team affirmative is really giving us the point of only capabilities or ability and not gender equality. So you're looking at that seriously, are they flowing in with the theme, flowing in towards gender equality and justice? Not that panel on that point there, they lose out on this debate here. Now, panel, for this particular debate here, this House supports affirmative action policies to address gender disparity in education and employment. House, imagine if a world you're encouraging competition between both genders, that is the girls and the boys or the girls and females, to enforce the point of development, a point of maybe inability among the both genders here. But that part that case is really making me to the house here. If affirmative action policies have been existing, how effective have they really been? If they have been implemented several times here, let them come and show us the impact society right now and how they work. That is what also their case have really built to bring the knowledge of the house today. And to that point out, they really lose out. The fact that they don't show us indeed how affirmative action policies really work, it means we don't know how it's going to bring about the gender equality they're telling us, and for that point here, they really lose out. So without answering seriously, the big problem we're having today in today's debate here is gender disparity here. But what is the best thing we should really do? What is the most effective strategy we must really implement to address the problem here? Well, that's the great for us affirmative policy action here. We tell you that it's not the best thing to do. Why? Because we got out of loopholes when currently on our country that has been working to the final inspection and has been having giving out 1.5 points here. Have they really worked? Why are we still having these things here? Why are we still having gender disparity? Why are we still having gender inequality? It's because affirmative action policies are failed to work. Something that has failed to work, how can you implement it over and over again? No, thank you. Something that really failed to work, how can you bring it again to work? It won't work. So it brings to our concept that you implement something that you really think is the most effective. Don't deep in research and really check because sometimes when you're going to the government, I'll get back to later. No, thank you. Now, kind of look at this thing here. We bring for you a point of meteorology here. And let me give you the point of this metric-based selection here. You're going to base on the capabilities of people, knowing what they are capable of doing, examining them, not because they're who are desirable, but because of their ability, because of what they really hold, and not concerning anything of their agenda. You want someone who is going to effectively, efficiently, and in the best way to bring for us development and sustainability. We're not going to care about who and whether you are friend or whatever you are, but because you are capable and you're able to do what you want in the best way, and not because you're only female or whatsoever. So, not because you're the person who decides to bring this thing here. That's what that person is supposed to engage on. Now, partner, let me show you indeed how the yes, thank you. No, I don't believe that, thank you. Now, partner, look at this point here. They come and tell us that in parliament, that 80% of parliament seats are for women. That is a very big fallacy for the house today. And let me tell you, partner, the seats for parliament for the women is 25.7%, and not 38%. So, partner, not that clear that they spread a fallacy to the house here. Now, partner, let me show you how indeed a conversation person works for the house here. Number one, they got stereotypes. Why? Because already women are facing this part that really poor and really do something that is hard, and people need to sympathizing with them. So the point of them, the very much stereotype there, and continue with the affirmation policies there. The way people promote the point of them. Number two, speaking about reverse discrimination and efficiency. Number one, pardon, let me inform you clearly that they keep on recognizing women as weak people, the way people carry the stereotype. That's what really that really brings about, and at the point of them, they can't lose out on this picture. So they don't show us indeed how these affirmation policies are working for the house today, are working for Uganda, and how effective they are. Yes, if they have been existing before, yeah, they have been existing. But how effective have they been, and how do they want to really show us that indeed they have to implement it once more again, show us they are working. And the fact that they have really failed to work before, it does not really tell us that they have to work for this picture. So let me come and really tell us how they are going to work here and how effective they are going to be. Then maybe we shall believe them. And for this picture, they lose all this debate here. The Lord is faithful like victorious.
First one. People behind, if you cannot keep silent, kindly move out. Because you're making the debaters compete with you and then you're disrupting us. And then if people who are making noise, your team is up here, you're risking. Save us so that we save you.
Okay, before I just want to say good luck to Team Negatives, and I also like to extend my thanks to the organizers, and thank you all teams that have been mentioned. It has been very engaging with all of you, and yeah, we're the best team win. So my speech begins at C, A, B, C. Now, dear judge, who
to inform you that the policy of competition that Team Negative want to support is the policy that was there before affirmative action. And the reason why affirmative action was brought in place, because this policy of competition, it has actually not addressed the problem of disproportionality in education and work systems, whereby actually Team Negative has failed to acknowledge that this problem is not there. So if this problem is not there, we are wondering, what are you here to do? Because we want to address this problem. That is fine. Dear Judge, according to New Vision, dated 25th May of 2024, it shows that actually there are only 42% of women enrollment compared to the 58% men enrollment. That shows a lot of disproportionality. Dear Judge, they want to promote competition. However, they're not actually showing us that this competition is actually going to be effective. Because, first of all, we are looking at disparities in employment and education system. That means there is already a problem in the education and employment system. So who is going to compete? The people that are underqualified? No. That is why we want to solve these disparities so that we bring women to be qualified, and then later on we shall provide for them affirmative action so that they can be able to compete effectively in this class of work. Dear Judge, I'd like to remind you of the definition of affirmative action. Affirmative action is a policy aimed at increasing workplace and educational opportunities for underrepresented people. And this matter, because of the Constitution of Uganda, realized that affirmative action was actually put out because of the disproportionality of representation between men and women. And who is the marginalized group here? It is the women. That is why affirmative action was brought about, the fact that women are underrepresented. I'd like to continue and tell you that affirmative action intends to ensure that suitably qualified employees from designated groups have equal employment opportunities and are equitably represented in all occupational categories to correct imbalances caused by history, tradition, and customs. So, dear Judge, from this debate, we have zeroed down to two major casualties. That is the case, and our compete over affirmative action. Dear Judge, they want to compete, but we have realized that this competition that they're trying to promote, it was there, it was tested, and we saw the ineffectiveness. Because in the end, we came up with a constitution that actually supports affirmative action. That's why we come up and say that still, to this point, Team Negative has not yet proven to us that actually affirmative action has failed. We never told you in our first speech, affirmative action is in existence, and we don't want to blame it. However, we're blaming the implementers of affirmative action. They're failing to do their job. However, affirmative action, even under wrong implementation, it has shown a lot of effectiveness. So we want to see, we want them to come and show us how competition that was there before brought more improvement than the affirmative action that they're trying to object. Dear Judge, to this point, we are not convinced by what they're saying. Dear Judge, we still have standing arguments that the negatives have failed to address. One, increases representation. They've not shown us how competition is actually going to increase representation, because it was there and still representation was very low. Two, it doesn't go with stereotypes. Very many stereotypes have been there because of this competition, because of very many mindsets that have been set up by people and have failed to be addressed. So if we actually increase the opportunities of the marginalized group, the women, we shall actually do away with these stereotypes. Dear Judge, as I conclude my speech, we need to have a problem in order to find a solution. Why are they finding a solution for a problem that does not exist? We are facing the problem of this proportionality, and that is why we are here to defend affirmative action. Dear Judge, the total got expensive to implement. However, in a situation where we need urgency, why should we consider costs? Right now, gender inequality is actually affecting a lot of sectors in Uganda. That means it's very urgent to address. Why should we consider expenses? With this, I beg to something. Thank you. This House supports affirmative action policies to address gender disparities in education and employment. One, at a point in time whereby we are having such a resolution, that means that we are actually facing many issues, many problems. Now we clearly come here and tell you that there is competition, yes, but then they fail to understand what kind of competition we are talking about. One, the competition back then was this this one whereby actually women were not allowed to go to school, only men were allowed to go to school, women were also not allowed to work, only men were allowed to work. Now currently, we are having a competition whereby, can you imagine that the lady is actually prioritized more than a man, whereby you are actually adding her 1.5. Seriously speaking, we are talking about a competition whereby it is so unfair to the gender. It is so unfair that we can't even believe that they are still coming here to say that our competition is actually one which is not valid. Now, we keep telling them that affirmative action cannot work. One, because it's literally supporting just one gender. It keeps on talking about women, this, women, that. We are living the man. Actually, the thing is to bring about reverse gender. Wow, this is the point whereby men are left out. Only women are now fronting the thing. Whereby actually they're at the point that they are taking advantage of all of this. Whereby if I'm a man, I'm trying to be so gentle, open for you a door, and you're all just like, you know what, I can do this. They're saying that they keep saying a man can do what a man can do better. Let us leave them to do this. Now we come here and keep on considering. We keep on telling you that the one way that we can actually solve this issue is one, meritology. We give you so many advantages. We tell you that it will actually benefit the stakeholders, not only them, but also the country at large. One, this will still bring us back to gender equality, whereby if I am actually going to apply for a job, if I am actually going to be in parliament, if I am going to be in a certain company, what makes me qualified to be in that company? But at the end of the day, we are all represented. What we want here is an impact. But at the end of the day, what are you bringing into the house? What are you bringing? What is the result? What is the end result? They actually don't understand that. No, the other thing is that their failures is they actually do not show us how vividly this affirmative action has worked. It looks like they keep saying that there is women representation, there is that, there is this. But actually, even after having women representation, we actually still having people have issues like hunger. We're having people have issues like discrimination and all that. They keep talking about mindset. Now, mindset is what is in us, right? So they keep telling us about it, but then they don't understand that what is bringing about this mindset is actually due to this affirmative action. It's about dictatorship in any way. If we are living for the people, we're like, you know what, this is for women. So when you want 40% should be here, that is dictatorship. They just bring in someone and putting them in place. I mean, what are they going to do for us? Let's be serious. Let's stop coming to give us fallacies here. The other thing is that they actually fail to tell us that if we are having this affirmative action debate, it has existed. Goodness, it has existed for a long time now. We have already been seeing any implementation. They keep telling us representation. They keep telling us there is not actually this is still there. Why do we still have discrimination? Why do we still have stereotypes? Come and answer these questions. Let them come here and give us vivid explanation about all of this. The other thing is that what is bringing about these stereotypes is one, affirmative action, right? How is it bring about? Whereby we're giving assistance to women and we are like the 40% should be here. It is going to create a certain kind of, confusion and bias in parliament. A woman is going to be still considered actually weak. I rest my case by saying that we take the debate. Why? Because we actually benefit politically, socially, and become stable. I rest.
Any other reply speaker? Let's deploy.
So now, in one of the typical eyes that Team Affirmative poses to our side of the house, ask us if we actually agree that this proportionality exists in status quo, and we tell them no. Now, right now for our resolution, we are not actually dealing with these proportionalities, but disparities that are existing in education and employment. So now that is away from that people eye. Let us clearly analyze which side deserves to win this debate. One, Team Affirmative brings to you a policy where they want to continue the implementation of affirmative action policies. And outside of the house, we prove to you why the implementation of affirmative action cannot go below the effective level it is right now. Because it is something that is expensive, because it has reverse effects. Now they're going to engage with us on how they are going to counter that issue of reverse stereotypes that are going to rise against the other gender when these affirmative action policies are actually implemented too. They're going to give to us an impact, a considerable impact on which we as a house should continue to best and support affirmative action policies. 3, they're going to explain to the house how they are going to solve the existing problems in status quo to make the implementation of affirmative action something possible. So because at that side of the house we do not still see the possibility of implementing affirmative action, there is no possibility that all the advantages raised in their case will ever be realized on us on their side of the house. And we believe because of those reasons they do not deserve to actually win. So now on their issue addressing our case, they come and tell us that competition has existed before. And we clearly inform them that the kind of competition that existed before is not the one we are vying for right now. We are actually vying for a merit on which women and men have equal opportunities, which is unlike what was there before. And then when they have these equal opportunities, one gender is not more than the other. On our side of the house, we give you something that can be implemented, something that is fair, and something that can be realized. With that, I wish to rest our case.
Before I begin, I want to thank the Almighty for reaching this point. And then I want to congratulate you, Iganga, for being here. If you win, we learn, but none of us loses. Well, I'll begin my speech by saying Iganga, and I'll begin at O. I-G-A-S-C-O. Now, the negative team actually is, in the first place, they defend something that they believe is not actually happening. First of all, they are defending the solving of disparities, but they actually believe that disparities are not there. So what is required for you to actually bring a solution? I want to tell you that they are not in this debate. The negative team would win this debate, but look at what they present. The negative team actually based on better education and merit and qualification, but then how can a girl who is in the first place not educated well go to compete in employment? That is 1. 2, even when they are actually educated, they choose wrong careers because of stereotypes that do exist, because they believe they are not supposed to do that. But even when they go and they study and pass, they are actually not employed because of discrimination, because they are women. But even when they are employed, their work is not valued. But even when their work is valued, they are not paid equally with the men. Even when they are paid equally with the men, they are added more work like taking care of home and taking care of other things. And we see this is where the problem is coming from. That when you educate these people well and allow them to go and compete, there is a problem giving us another problem and another problem. Now I want to tell you, why do we stand here? Because the state shall protect women and their rights, taking into account of their status and a natural maternal functions in society. That's what the Constitution says. It means that we believe that women who are actually the marginalized group in this place need affirmative action. Why? Because they are marginalized. If you bring about equality, at a point where we believe that men at one point will be marginalized, affirmative action shall work for them. So it is a point that actually bases on 2 sides of the debate. Now, the outcome of the affirmative case shows you how we are doing away with historical stereotypes and systemic behaviors in employment and education. And the point where we do the implications of this outcome actually takes away the claims of team negative. That the implications of our outcomes take away their implications or their claims that they enable marginalized groups to behave in a certain way that leads them to do away with disparities. I'm going to rest my case.
So this one I'm going to do. Just leave the judges just 3 minutes. Deliberate, okay? Can we have a break for a moment?
I'm so tired. wonder how I can stop all this.
Ruth? Ruth?
Hello? Good evening, everyone. Hello? Who is happy to read this time? Who is happy? Are you all happy? First of all, I want to congratulate all of us. I want to congratulate each one in this place for reaching this particular time, this particular tournament, the second edition of the BOM Debate Tournament. I hope you've had fun. I just want someone from, I'm going to pick random here. If I come near you, you just stand up and march in front. I want a lady and a gentleman from two different schools. I don't know. Let me pick one from this side. Pick a lady, yeah? The lady in black. Please move with me. So I have a lady. I also need a gentleman who will come winning. You're not going to get you. The gentleman, you stand up for yourself and just come here. From any school. Wow. We actually have two, that's fine. So we are actually debating on a thing that talks about gender equality, right? So when we see two gentlemen, I will need another lady. So can I have another lady from another school who will come here, who should not be from Holy Cross, should not be from Triangle, should not be from Namutunga, should be from another school that has not been represented. Okay, so we have a lady there. I don't know her school.